All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unidos Unplugged, the podcast where community culture and wellness take the spotlight. I am your host, David Villarreal, joined today by some of our backbone. If they want to go ahead and introduce each other.
Hi everyone, my name is Saray Lozano. I'm the data analyst for UCD.
Hello, everybody. My name is Claire Garza. I'm the facilitator here at UCD, and I'm excited to be back on the mic.
All right, awesome. So we're excited to all be back. And today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about how to survive the South Texas summer heat. So it should be a fun episode, not too long. And we'll just kind of give you guys some helpful tips and tricks that you guys can implement just to survive the summers here in South Texas, because we know they can get very hot. That'll segue us into our first question, which is what makes the summers in South Texas different from other parts of the country? Who wants to start?
Humidity.
Yeah, the humidity. No, it's brutal. Our summers are a bit brutal, I would say, because it's hot. It's very hot all day almost.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just up in Conroe, so close to Houston this past weekend. I swear it still just felt hotter here.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it has to be the humidity, right?
Yeah.
So I was in like the Woodlands area, and I expected it to be a lot more humid. It's all greenery, and it just wasn't, man. It just felt so much hotter as soon as we got back into the Edinburgh area. So that's definitely something we've been noticing. I don't know if you have like another.
I think what's interesting about the valley too is that because I know a lot of times we talk about like having an event in the morning because it's cooler per se, right? But it's hot like at 8 a.m. Like I'm walking
Yeah.
out the door at 7 and I'm already sweating. It is hot. Like the sun is out.
Yeah.
So you're definitely getting that from morning to about 7 p.m. now. So it's just being mindful of that. Like if you're working out and outside, you're in that sun all day.
Right. And I think on Monday, my wife joined a run club, and she went at 6:30, and I think she said it was like at a park this time, and it was like for like kids were welcomed as well. So she took the girls, and yesterday I was getting home. Well, after our event, I was getting home, and it was around that time, and I was like, man, this is terrible. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I asked her, I was like, was it even like safe
It's
to be out there?
hot.
But it was fine. It was like under the shade, but still, it's still
Yeah.
very hot. So
At
like
6
you stop.
p.m. it's still like 100 degrees.
Yes, because I'm like, hey, I'm driving home, and it's
Yeah.
reading, and that's in the truck with the AC going. It's reading 107,
Yeah,
110.
it's hot.
It's-
I mean, I think that's where I've been seeing like an influx of people going to the gym at that time
Yeah.
and not maybe like riding their bikes or walking or running outside at that time because it's so hot. We were just talking about that. How like they're probably like, you know what, the best thing to do is I still want to get my workout in, but I like quite literally can't be outside. It's just like it depletes you.
Right. You were gonna say something, Sari?
Yeah, I made the mistake of going in my bike yesterday to the gym, and by the time I got there, I was drenched.
Yeah, it's
You
a
wanna-
workout. It's a workout.
It's
you don't
hot.
need a sauna.
Yes. That's why I'm like, it was 6 p.m. and it was still like really, really hot.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I feel like this can segue into like the next little portion of our convo, the health risks or kind of like complications that we can experience during this heat. Because let's be honest, it's the sun's going down now by closer to 9. It's still hot. So at this point, because if you wait a lot of the times for stuff that whatever exercise or stuff that we might be doing, whether it's time constrained because of family, work, whatever the case may be, we might only have, a certain window of time. Sometimes we can't get around the fact that, hey, we're going to probably have to be out there at 5
Yeah.
or 6 or maybe even 7 when it's still pretty hot, or in the morning, like you're saying, Claire. What are some things, or what are some of like those health risks that people might face being out there that maybe we can kind of also, then help them with some tips?
Well, I think the obvious one is dehydration.
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So dehydration.
Yeah, we
is
encourage
a
people
big
to
one.
drink lots of water, stay hydrated. Make sure if you're going to the park with your kids or if you're planning on having that exercise outside, just be equipped with enough water because it's hot, you feel it. And we definitely recommend that for sure is staying
So,
hydrated.
Have you guys ever experienced like that, like being dehydrated or that
Yes.
feeling?
Yes.
I was always just kind of like, it's hot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've technically ever experienced it, but maybe 2 weeks ago now, or 3 weeks ago, I was in Austin. I went to a super, super nice park. The area that me and my family was in, like a shaded kids area. Me and my buddy ventured off into a non-shaded area. And I'm saying the story because then he experienced it here at work, and then I tied it back to my experience, and I was like, hey, I was also. So I'm like,
Yeah.
we were dehydrated. We could have passed
Yeah.
out. So we were at this park. It's a really nice park. But we did some like little trail thing, and I just started, like, you're outside, you're sweating, but then my sweat started feeling cold.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
started feeling a little dizzy.
Yeah, that's your body telling you, let's get some water in there.
I had water, obviously not enough. And I think what also messed me up a little bit, one, we're in just the direct midday heat. I think I had too much caffeine.
I was going to say, were you
prior.
caffeinated? Because
Yes.
caffeine dehydrates you.
And I know kind of prior to the episode, me and Sarai were talking a little bit about that, which I can let her touch on right now. But so fast forward, we finish, and I definitely get some water in me. We cool off in the car, and just this past weekend, he got sent home from work, or he just left. He texted his wife and left. Because he's like, hey, he was doing some work. He works like in a lab type of area, but it's like in a warehouse. And he said, I walked back into like the main area, which is it does have AC, and he's like, I was sweating and I was cold.
Yeah.
And he said I had to sit down because I was getting dizzy, and he's like, at some points I felt like I was just in and out of it. And this was just here at work, just this past week. Just this past week, and I was like, man, that's insane. So I tied it back to my experience, and I was like, hey, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah, you're
I was like, that's what I
dehydrated.
was telling you I was feeling at the park, but I just chopped it up to, I'm tired, or
Yeah,
it's
no.
hot. It's hot. But yes, I think that also didn't help, and I know we were kind of talking about it.
I think that's very interesting that you're saying that, because usually when you think about dehydration, you think about it in the moment. Like, I have to stay hydrated in the moment. And like you said, you guys were staying hydrated, but even then, like, you have to continue that hydration even after, because you just never know, right?
Yeah.
Especially you're outside, you're sweating, right? So you're depleting that. So you have to make sure you're continuous.
Excuse me. Great points, Sarai. I definitely am guilty of that. I'll get, maybe if I'm going to do an outdoor activity, I'll get there and I'm like, oh, time to hydrate. I'm not hydrating the seconds before I start doing whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
Especially in this heat, I would have had to, leading up to that, be hydrating. That's something that, again, I was just unaware of.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like a lot of people are unaware of, especially here in the Valley. And it should be something that we make a bigger point to touch on. Like, hey, hydrating during is not the actual way to do it. Leading up to it is the way.
It's also preventative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that Gatorade is not hydrating either. And I know that sometimes you're outside and you're playing a sport and you're like, oh, I'm going to drink Gatorade because I need all those electrolytes. Like,
Right.
you can get the same, nutrients from water as well. And it's important to still drink water. And definitely moderation, right? And if you want to have a little bit of Gatorade to have a little flavor, do so if you'd like, but you still need the water.
Well, I like that you highlighted that it's not just hydration from Gatorade, right? There's so many options, and obviously sugar-free beverages are the best. In this case, water would be optimal, right? But you can always find fun ways to hydrate as well, like such as having your fruit, having like a flavored water that you make from yourself with, I don't know, cucumbers, mint, so many options out there, right? So I like that you highlight that, because it's true.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Do you want to touch on, since we're kind of on that note, and Claire mentioned the Gatorade, do you want to touch on that, Sarai, the whole sugar thing with
yes, so without overwhelming everybody, so we all know that coffee dehydrates you and all that stuff, right? And actually, I learned to this morning. I always knew that, right? So everybody always says, stay away from diuretics because they can dehydrate your body, and they certainly can. But while I was looking into that, I learned that happens like at the kidney level, and I'll circle back to that so I also learned that the osmolality of every fluid has an impact in your gut and how your body absorbs the liquids in it. And so in my research, with my very brief research this morning, I was seeing that sugary beverages actually dehydrate you. And again, it goes back to the concentration of every fluid. So whenever you have a sugary beverage with high corn syrup,
Or like the fructose, right?
High
yes,
fructose,
exactly,
yeah.
yes, that basically your body has a certain concentration or certain osmotic balance that it has.
Okay.
So when you bring in fluids that have a high concentration of like sugar or fructose, then that creates an imbalance. And so through osmosis, like your cells actually push water out into your gut to like balance it out.
Oh, wow.
And so it actually kind of dehydrates you in that matter. And I'm sure a doctor can actually like go, or scientists
More in
can,
depth. Yeah, for
can go
sure.
more in depth. But I just thought that was so interesting because I mean, obviously, like we mentioned earlier, the preferred choice is either water or, you know, those natural resources such as fruit. But I didn't actually know that about sugary beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we say that because we didn't know. Sarai didn't know. I didn't know. How many other people don't know?
Yeah.
You know, the valley is just, you know, it's huge. It's so heavily populated. You know, we can safely say that a huge majority of the population probably also doesn't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's why we're here to kind of you know, shine light a little bit on that. On that note, another big topic of conversation when it comes to, you know, surviving the summer and just being safe outdoors. Um, is water enough in most cases? Is it just drinking water enough?
To stay hydrated?
To stay hydrated. We hear both sides of the coin. I kind of want y'all's input of it.
So I think water is the preferred choice,
Yes.
right? But if your body does not have the minerals to really bring in that water into your cells, then you're not going to be hydrating as fast. And I think that the example that you gave previously, I'm assuming that y'all were just drinking water.
Yep.
I think that's exactly what happened, right? So now, as we've learned more about this and hydration in our field, we've learned that also sodium and potassium is what really helps your cells and, you know, bring that water into the cell and actually hydrate you. And so going back to the fruits, that's one of the reasons why we recommend, or usually the fruit is recommended as a form of hydration, because they already have those natural sodium and potassium components to it that tag in with the water into your cells and hydrate you. So
Right.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just remember talking to one of the nutritionists at El Milagro clinic, and she was just saying, like, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have Gatorade or something like that to be able to get those electrolytes or that sodium that you're talking about that you need. She actually recommended, like, hey, you still need the water. Water is still a component in Gatorade if you think about it, in most juices, right? But you can add, like, and I know you did a recipe on that, David, where you can add your citrus, your fruit, your lemon, your lime, your cucumber, right? You can add it to flavor your water and give you those extra nutrients. But a little bit of Himalayan salt is what I've been told. If you add that to your water, gives you that kind of boost of electrolyte that you might need.
Right.
You can barely taste it. I've actually tried it. You can barely taste it. I don't at all. And you can do your research and look a recipe up if you'd like. But there are other ways to be able to, I mean, it's like making your own Gatorade at home, right? If you really want to think about it.
Yeah, there's definitely other ways. Also, it kind of segues into, you know, maybe the sports drinks aren't always the best option. We can definitely find other options, especially in the field that we're in. We hear Gatorade all the time. It's part of our sugary beverage kit that shows how much sugar is in, you know, some of our favorite drinks. Gatorade's a big component. We hear it at the health fairs all the time. Me and Claire were just at a health fair yesterday. And, you know, a lot of the kids gravitate towards it. So we definitely see that as being one of the big components as to, like, hey, like, that's my go-to when, you know, if we're going to be outside and doing all this activity. In all reality, unless it's intensive, you know, prolonged physical exercise, we really don't need, you know, that. And especially with the communities that we're a part of and that we serve, that's probably the last thing we should be recommending because of the sugar.
Yeah.
Again, most people, especially if, you know, I know a lot of people, they work outside, they work, you know, labor-intensive jobs. But again, the flip side of it is, do you really need all that sugar throughout the day? Because a lot of the times, from what I hear, just being out in the community a lot, is they don't even drink the water. That's all they're drinking. It's the Gatorade. They're like, no, pues, you know, they would tell me in Spanish, like, estoy sudando todo el día, trabajo,
the big gulps.
you know, trabajo, trabajo todo el día afuera, so es lo que necesito. And I'm like, you know, that's not, okay, maybe because of your job, but can we not find another option so you're not consuming? I mean, at that point, if you're drinking it throughout your entire 8 to 12 hour work shift, how many grams of sugar have you consumed by then?
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of that, not to like super segue, right? But a lot of that too, like it's the marketing in Gatorade and those products,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like
since we've been little.
you're looking at the the commercial and you're seeing kids working out or being outside and they're hydrating with that Gatorade and they're drinking it and it's telling you like you need this. So a lot of our population, they see that on their TVs or the consumers are seeing it and they're like, yeah, no, I do need that to be able to continue working, to continue staying, hydrated, quote unquote,
yeah.
right? And so a lot of that is that too. Like they just don't know that, it's not necessarily the best thing for them and that there are other options.
Correct. So another thing that we might not, I guess, think about, because we've been saying a lot of just like, water, all these liquids, right? Now, can we incorporate our nutrition, especially right now during the hot summer months, can we incorporate foods that help keep us hydrated?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sarai said, a lot of like the fruits that you're eating. I mean, like watermelon, cucumber, a lot of that has a lot of water in it.
Yeah.
And it helps you stay hydrated. It's refreshing.
Right.
I know a lot of we hear it at the events, right? Like I don't really like the taste of water. Or water's boring after a while. Like add a flavor to it. Add some watermelon. Right now is the season. There's some really good fruits out there, guys. Like, I go to HEB and I just got some berries and I got some other fruits, and adding that does add a little bit of a flavor. You're getting extra hydration. And I would say definitely, and continue eating your greens because if you're trying to stay caffeinated as well because you need the energy for either working out or going outside or whatever it is that you're doing, you can get that same energy from what you're eating as well. Like, making sure you're eating high fiber foods and, all of that. So absolutely.
Yeah. I asked that just because, again, we don't necessarily, even right now when we're talking about like, hey, you should probably hydrate leading up to it, we don't always think of that as far as like consuming food. We always think about it like in liquid form or water, just that. But yeah, definitely, if you're gonna have a day at the beach with your family, hey, as you're driving up, obviously be drinking your water. You guys are gonna be outside for most of the day. Have some watermelon, have some cucumbers, have all, and it's stuff that it's already a huge part of our culture. It's just we could opt without having it with the chamoy and all that stuff, right?
Sure,
to make it a little bit healthier and to make sure it's good for us and we're not getting all these unnecessary sugars from these other things. There's also, do you guys have any like fun or favorite alternatives that you guys kind of lean towards?
For water?
For your summer drinks.
I love some berries and mint in the water, and I know you created a recipe for that for some of our events.
Right.
And I've kind of kept to it. I really like it. I like the taste of the berries, the antioxidants they give, and the mint's just kind of like a nice little flavor, a little bit of a zest. So I really recommend it if you haven't tried it. It's a great way to drink water and flavor it up.
Great. Sarai, anything?
I just like to stick to fruit. Like I love watermelon, so
Okay.
I literally eat watermelon all day.
Okay, perfect. I think I would probably go with like I'll do it sometimes. If I'm outside for a prolonged period of time, or if I'm just doing house chores and they happen to be outside, I'll get a Topo Chico. And it's zero from, I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's 0 calories and it's delicious. So I get a Topo Chico, a cup of ice. I'll do some of that salt.
A little Himalayan salt or sea salt, yeah.
Himalayan pink salt, or I think just sea salt in general. That way people aren't like, they don't overcomplicate it and they're like, well, it needs to be this exact one. I think just sea salt in general.
I would like to highlight that it has to be a specific type in that that it's not a refined.
Okay.
Because usually when you think of sodium, you just literally think salt, like table salt.
Yeah.
And because it's so refined, it doesn't have those other minerals that your cells need
benefits.
to really absorb the water.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. I think that's the one. Yeah, I think that's the one we have in general. And I know that I'm saying also like thinking ahead. It doesn't have to be the most expensive option. There's still those good options that are not going to run you or not going to break the bank as far as like, just getting some good salt. So it's the ice, the salt, a lot of lime, and then just a Topo Chico over it. And then sometimes I'll add just a little bit of splash of like pickle juice.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
delicious. It's super good.
Good.
It's hydrating.
Yeah.
I'm not getting all these unnecessary calories and sugars from like a Gatorade. So that's awesome.
Helps with the cramps, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They even I didn't even consider that because I see it sometimes at like the academies
The
that
pickle
they'll
shots.
sell. Yeah, the pickle shots. Sorry, Sada, you were gonna say.
No, I can't remember I saw this video recently and it was trending of like, it's like an energy drink with like Coke, I think, and it's like they put tajin and lemon and basically make it like a whole thing, like a drink, but it's like supposed to hydrate you, and it has like cucumber electrolytes.
I actually know that
electrolyte,
exact
and I was
drink.
right now that you were talking about this, it kind of reminded me of that. But I mean, I don't know how healthy that is.
Is that counterintuitive? So. I actually know the exact drink. Let me tell you guys and the audience. So I haven't had it just because I usually try to. Anyways, we won't get into that. But the exact drink is either a cucumber lime electrolyte or a cucumber lime Gatorade with a watermelon Red Bull, and then they'll add. It's either, I don't think they'll add extra lime, but they'll just add tajin or like a little. Sometimes they'll make it fancy and they'll do like a chamoy rim. And it's just that. It's a bunch of ice, that full Gatorade.
Sounds like a mocktail.
The Red Bull, and people are like, oh, this is just what I needed. Boom, down that. I don't know if...
Sugar-free, preferably?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's just counterintuitive to, because the caffeine's kind of like... not really hydrating you, and then you're just introducing all this sugar, and I don't know. So I don't know if that would even work, or if that's just counterintuitive to kind of what we're trying to do here. But yes, so that's the drink. Go ahead, Sari.
No, yeah, I mean, that one, I personally just try to stick to water, and I occasionally do have, a liquid IV package in my water if I'm really feeling dehydrated. Yeah. And for the most part, I stick to, like I said, just water or my fruits. But I mean, I wouldn't lean towards that. It just kind of like reminded me of that because I know it's trending. So.
And they're like, anything but water.
Yes,
right?
Literally.
All these options and all these different drinks that people try and make. It's just, it's fun and it's cool for like the, social media and all that. But I mean, is that really helping us?
One thing that we didn't touch on, and I don't want to deviate from our main topic, is that sodium, you have to be careful with it, because it can affect you if you have high blood pressure. And I know that we've encountered, speaking of Gatorade and all that, I was just thinking right now, we have encountered that before, where I've been at health fairs, displaying our sugary beverages display.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly one time this lady came up to me and she's like, you know what, I used to drink the Gatorade a lot, and then I was kind of like having a hard time controlling my blood pressure. And I told my doctor about it, and it was because of that, because like it has a lot of sodium in it too. So, just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And that's where like the type of salt that you put in your body makes a difference, right? Because if you're just adding sodium, it's not going anywhere. It's just staying in your body. It's causing high blood pressure. Yeah. But if it has those other components, then, it'll help. Right.
Were you going to touch on something, Claire?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody's body is different. Everyone processes things differently, too. So if you're drinking Gatorade, or if you're drinking too much sodium and your body's feeling a little bit off, those alerts are going off in your body saying, like, hey, this isn't working. Go to the doctor, check that out for sure.
Definitely. So I was doing a little bit of research before the episode. Just because I already had in mind, kind of like the talking points, but I was like, you know what, it's always, maybe there's other tips and tricks that, we haven't considered that, could be very useful. So one of the things that I came across is eating lighter meals. Now, again, maybe you're not so much to say because it's because of your diet or, this and that, but think about it. If especially I know maybe like, our jobs are not as labor intensive as other jobs at times, but somebody that works out in construction or just out in something with manual labor that they have to be outside, especially during during these months, I'd have to, I mean, if we get hungry, I'd have to assume they build up quite an appetite. Yeah. So lunch rolls around, they probably have a pretty hefty meal. Yeah. Probably like carb heavy meal or whatever it is they pack.
To sustain them, right?
To sustain them, or whatever it is that they go by. So that can actually make your body run hotter. Your body is then working twice as hard to just break down and digest all that food, which in turn, it's kind of like you're already exercising and then your body internally is working twice as hard to break down all this food to digest it. You're running, I mean, if it's 100-something degrees outside, your body's temperature is right there, if not more. And I'm like, that can't be. I'm like, it's not something that we automatically, because it's like, hey, man, I've been working. I've been, busting my butt all day. I need to eat.
Yeah.
But it's something to keep in mind. Maybe space out our meals a little bit better during the summer, especially if we're outside. Have some other healthy snacks that you can eat. That way your actual main meal doesn't need to be like a huge meal that our body's going to take so much longer and work so much harder to break down.
And on that, just to touch on that, and it's not, exact, but looking at food as absolute fuel for your body is really important. And I've noticed it because, like, sometimes when I get home and I'm having a meal that may be, like, maybe more carb heavy or just not as nutritious, my energy level is not there. And so, like, maybe I won't work out or I'm a little more lethargic. And I think, like, knowing that in your body, like especially like you said, like those that have jobs that are a little more labor intensive.
Yeah.
If they're having a very heavy carb meal, you're going back to your work or you're going back outside to go back, back out there, you're probably tired.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have the same energy. So think about, like, what you're feeding yourself and that you want to have that continued energy throughout the day. So if it's a little more nutritious, it might help you out and not necessarily make you so tired where you're having to, like, rely on, like, now I have to drink all these energy drinks to keep me going or all this caffeine or, oh, now I need a Coke to get that. You know what I mean? So thinking about it that way too, a little bit lighter, a little bit more nutritious might give you the nutrients and energy that you need to go throughout the day and not feel so like, ugh, I'm tired. Just something that I've noticed in my own body personally.
Absolutely. I think we can make this, I think, so my next kind of segue is just having, like, what our main, if you guys want to do, like, a checklist style, or we could just do, like, our top 3, like, summer tips, for surviving, basically.
I really want to highlight sunscreen, and that's just because I personally burn very, very easily. So if you are outside, and sometimes it doesn't even take me like 20, I can be 20 minutes outside and I'm already red. And a lot of times we're thinking like, oh, well, it's, it's the sun and I don't feel it that much, or I'm used to it. Like it really does affect your skin. And so I do, really recommend like find maybe you don't like sunscreen, find a spray or wear a big hat, take an umbrella. There are ways to be able to secure, like, stay away from the sun because it does affect your body. And it obviously makes your body hot, you're dehydrated, but that, being burned is not good. I was outside like cutting the grass and I didn't wear a hat. This was just like about a month ago. And I had my hair like parted down the middle and my scalp got so burned.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it. Like I had put sunscreen on my body and I'm very, I definitely try to wear a long sleeve if I'm going to be out for too long. But I did all that. And then at the end of the day, I was like, what is like happening up here? And it was like so red. And so it's just like being mindful of that because those sun rays are very, very strong. And, that can cause skin cancer and so many other things. And so just being mindful of that, taking care of your body that way too.
Okay, so I got tip number 1 from Claire, sunscreen. Sarai?
I'm going to say when you go to the grocery stores, make sure that you're getting your fruits, like your high electrolyte fruits, like your cucumber, your cantaloupe, your, I don't know, just different things like that.
Okay, so I can just put nutrition on that for Sarai, so that will be hers. I will make mine easy just because I'm looking at Claire and I see it right next to her. A nice water bottle.
Ooh.
And I say nice because nowadays it doesn't have to be. I know yours is an Owala and it's really nice. They're easy to carry. Yeah. If you leave it in the car, it's not gonna be like those plastic water bottles that are that they get hot like within seconds.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. You can find a very nice, stainless steel water bottle that's going to keep your BPA, free and safe. It's going to keep your water nice and cool all day, and it doesn't have to be, expensive. There's so many options, so many cost-effective options that you can find now that are, that make it easier for us to have our water on us at all times and carry it at all times. So let's do water. Do you want to do one more, Claire, that you can think of?
I mean, this is just like I want to plug this in for organizations that are going to be having back-to-school fairs.
Oh, I know.
Coming up, and I know we've already been to a couple, and I've already noticed it. But making sure that the community is safe, making sure that they're hydrated. I know we were at a couple events, and we've noticed it. Shade, have some tents out there, and I'm going to plug in UCD on this. And if your organization is having something and you don't have enough tents to be able to make sure people are secure. Reach out to one of the Backbone because we do have those for you all, so you can kind of rent them out and use them. We want our community safe. We don't want people to be passing out because it's so hot. And as we mentioned before, like, it's hot all day. So no matter when you're having it, right, if it's from 5 to 7 or 7 a.m., they're still out in the heat. These people are waiting outside for resources and things that they need. And the last thing we want is for them to be sick and dehydrated and, and all that. So that is a big one. I know we've been pushing that out to organizations just to be mindful of that. If you can have an indoor event, great. But if you can't, take that into consideration when you're planning.
Mm-hmm. And I know you said rent, but we do have them for free, so I just wanted to
sorry,
highlight
yeah.
that. No,
Wrong word,
I know
wrong
what
word.
you meant. I know what you meant, but just to highlight that. And then also, if there's anything that y'all feel that, you may need, I know at some point we had really nice swag hats that were really nice for like the sun. So if you need something like that, then reach out and, we can definitely look for a way to help you all in that manner.
Absolutely.
Great. I will piggyback off of that with kind of like she said hats and mine was going to touch on clothing. I say that because it's a personal thing with me that I've now noticed it. One of my friends pointed it out. So like I'd say 85 to 90% of my closet is black. So my gym clothes are black. It's black shorts and a black tee. And I sometimes if I'm not at the gym, I'm wearing that outside. Lighter colored clothing.
Yeah,
I thought it was a myth or I thought it was like something, and I definitely noticed it.
It absorbs the heat.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's super insane. So lighter colored clothing, breathable clothing. So just to kind of recap, we got sunscreen, we got proper nutrition, we got obviously staying hydrated.
Yes.
Make sure you have your water bottles with you, and then make sure the areas that you are going to be at, if you cannot, go in the evenings or early in the mornings before the sun is out and crazy hot, make sure there's some shade around, in case you need to take a break and just take a breather. Make sure there's some shade around for you. So those are kind of our, top little tips for surviving the summer heat, especially here in the valley. In South Texas. So I want to end right before we close out. I want to end with like a little rapid fire, and I'll alternate from Claire and Sarai, and it's just a fun little way to end it. So I'll go with Claire. Claire, rapid fire: beach or pool?
Ooh, beach.
Beach, great. Sarai, watermelon or mango?
Ooh, watermelon.
Okay. Claire, favorite summer drink?
Oh. You made that Topo Chico with pickle juice sound really good, and I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds like that would be my summer drink.
Okay, great. I thought she was going to say the Red Bull with the...
No.
I'm kidding. This one should be easy. Sarai, sunscreen or hat?
Ooh, hat. Both. Preferably both, but...
Great. Morning or evening walks, Claire?
Evening.
Evening walks. And then, Sarai, one item you'll never leave home without in the summer.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
A very hard one.
But
to end it, right?
I'm going to say my sunglasses.
Yeah.
But
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, we're closing out here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully, you guys were able to get, we try to make it a quick little short episode, easy to digest. And just some little closing tips, closing remarks to kind of leave you guys with. Before we sign out is, don't wait until you're thirsty or overheated to take action. That, again, if you guys listen to my story in the beginning, that's kind of what happened to me. Stay hydrated. Make sure you guys are in shaded areas during the hottest parts of the days. Wear your sunscreen. Check in on if you're a parent, if you have kids, check in on your kids. I know they're young and they love running around and being active, but we still need to obviously monitor them, especially during the summer heat. And just we hope you enjoyed the tips. We hope you guys got something out of it, and more importantly, we hope that you guys can join us on the next episode of Unidos Unplugged. And we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay healthy.